Her name is Mickey Riley. Make some noise for this queen as she makes it down. As the founder, the owner, again, of Women-Owned Wine. All right, so first of all, Mickey, we're going to have a little Q&A with you first. How are you doing today, queen?
I am fabulous, thank you. How are you?
And you look fabulous, girl.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, and so when I was with you earlier, you were telling me about the 40 grand, and you know, you made me feel good because then I was getting close to a certain age, and you kind of told me the story behind it. So can you just let us know a little bit about this 40 grand and this 40 significance, some of the things you shared with me?
Yes, well, I have an organization called The Fabulous 40 and Over Club.
Hey!
Right?
Got to be loud in that.
Yeah, right? Okay, the Fabulous 40 and Over Club is a book and a social organization. Why the number 40? Because 40 is a grand number. When I was young, I always knew I wanted to be 40. Because at 40, I am not too old, but I'm not too young and inexperienced. And because 40 means so much to me, the book meant a lot to me. I got a lot of inspiration and stories from women 40 to 90 years old to help give to women such as yourself, okay? Why I had to start my wine brand, although knowing I was gonna have wine for years. I do everything women love. I've been a makeup artist for over 25 years, an instructor. I've sold accessories, I've styled women. This is what I do. We drink wine.
Yes.
Wine is a $78 billion industry. We consume 86% of it. We own less than 1%.
Tell it.
All right,
Okay.
We're here to change the narrative. But 40 grand started because I knew 40 was a grand number. It started in COVID, October of COVID 2020. And being a COVID survivor myself, having lost loved ones, knowing that every day we wake up is a day to celebrate.
Right.
So instead of going in the Cabernet area, which we'll be having the Cabernet out in March,
All right.
I said, hey, we need a sparkling wine, what we call champagne, but just some education. If it's not made in Champagne, France, technically you cannot advertise that across America.
Let
Okay?
know.
But this is a fabulous sparkling wine that was inspired to celebrate and to inspire others to celebrate, because every day you wake up is a day to celebrate from all that we've been through.
Yes, that deserves a round of applause for that. Yes. Okay, so you can let us know, Mickey, how we can tap in, maybe be part of the membership, follow you, all of that amazing stuff.
Thank you, thank you. So we just did our soft launch Sunday, this past Sunday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We have a wine club. We have an opportunity for our members to own and inspire brands and monetize off of them if you're a part of our wine club. The wine club is only right now until March when we have our grand opening, $39 a month, $39.99. You get bottles monthly. We have free tasting events. We have a tasting room downtown, 75 John Wesley Dobbs Avenue. And you can get more information by going to our website, womenownedwines.com.
Give a round of applause for Miss Mickey.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, you're gonna have some more with Mickey Moses.
Yes, yes.
All right, we got some Mickey Moses, some samples back there. So even though we're having the panel, guys, you want to go get you some libations and come back, please do so, okay? All right, so up next, I would like to move on to, this next gentleman, one of our sponsors here for the food aspect of tonight. He has this golden, beautiful brown rim. As he makes his way towards me, can y'all give a round of applause for Mr. Devo in the building? The visionary and founder of Food and Lifestyle TV. Devo.
Thank you very much, man.
How you doing, good sir?
I feel fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Dickey.
Can I say something before you go?
Yeah, you did.
I just wanted to say that I'm just really great to have you here today and to be our panelist and to share your vision with all of us. I'm very much excited for what you have to come, and I'm just glad I got to share that with you, good sir. I want to give you your flowers in front of people, okay?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
But it's a similar mission. It's a way that you build a platform to uplift people. So you'll have plenty of time to talk to me on the panel. I'd like to introduce to you some of the stars of Food and Lifestyle TV who have done what they've done to help entertain your palates this evening. Up front, Chef Toy.
Round of applause. Chef Toy.
Hold it close.
Hello everyone, I'm Chef Toy. My company is called That Simple Cooking, and we do pretty much everything culinary. We do everything from private events to dining experiences, catering, meal preps, as well as cooking classes. So we can come to you or you can come to us. We also do products like sea moss and loose leaf teas for health and nutrition, things like that.
And Chef Toy, today, I know the delicious food you brought in the cup. Can you tell us a little bit about what you brought for us today?
Today, our appetizer was a chicken roulade with mozzarella, cherry tomatoes, basil over artesian and super greens with a balsamic glaze.
Oh, delicious.
So delicious.
Thank you.
Okay, and then lastly, how can we follow you and tap in with you?
You can go to our website, www.thatsimplecooking.com, or you can find us on Instagram on thatsimple_cooking.
All right, round of applause for Chef Toy, everyone, please.
Chef Candace. Okay. Chef Candace helps us on our social. She has 6-figure following on TikTok, 6-figure following on Instagram, and she has an uncanny ability to create visually attractive but still delicious meals. Candace.
Round of applause.
Thank you, that was so sweet. That was definitely better than how I was going to introduce myself. But I'm Candace. I used to go by Chef Candace, but I'm somebody that feels like I'm more broad than a label. I'm multifaceted and I just have a passion for food and storytelling. So I am a full-time content creator and UGC creator where I create content for companies to use for their marketing purposes. And I specialize in food and lifestyle. So I kind of encompass everything. So I hit the visuals, I talk about mental health, and I'm currently pivoting to doing more of a scientific kind of black version of Bill Nye the Science Guy and Out and Brown, if you guys know that. Those are my favorite growing up. If you grew up in the 90s, or you got some kids that grew up in the 90s and 2000s. So I'm using my platform to help black people get back in the kitchen, not just during the pandemic, but learn that there's food at home and also learning how to make their favorite things, like bread from scratch. And I don't figure out eggs yet, but when I figure out eggs, we'll figure that out on TikTok. But yes, I'm Candace, if you want to call me Chef, if you want to do whatever, but the brand is called Call Me Candace. So.
Okay, and Candace, real quick, what did you bring for us today?
So I brought one of my dishes that went viral last year, even though the term is kind of cringe, but it had 3 million on Instagram and 3 million on TikTok, and it's an Italian grinder salad. I am from Chicago, so on the north side, hey, Chicago. So on the north side, we have more of a concentrated Italian American community, and there's a lot of grinder and pizza companies up there. So I know from growing up that a grinder salad, an Italian style grinder, is pretty much what I would call a hoagie, and they toast it. I don't want to say it wrong. But it's an Italian style grinder, so I brought it and I put it on some Hawaiian bread because, you know, we love the Hawaiian bread. We love to free the Hawaiians. And yeah, so it was one of my most viral recipes, and it's super good. No pork, because no pork. We'll try to do that this year, but but yes, it's an Italian style grinder salad sandwich. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much. We can follow you on Call Me Candace.
Yes, Call Me Candace TV. There's a whole bunch of different spellings with Candace, but it's CANDACE.TV. Yep.
All right, thank you so much, Candace. Give a round of applause for Candace.
One of the most exciting things about owning your own platform is being able to reach out and find brand new talent. We did a special. We have a partnership with Piedmont Women's Health, and this gentleman was the sous chef on that special. I think it was a Thanksgiving, heart-healthy vegan special.
Yes.
But he had a lot of personality, and he knew what he was doing behind the 1 and 2s. So, Rosanna Case,
Yes.
come on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Round of applause.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, sir.
God bless you. Hello, everybody. Make some noise. I feel like a DJ when I come to the mic. Okay. Right? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yeah. No. So my name is Rosano Enrico Case Jr., also pronounced Rosano. Like some really good pasta with some amazing sauce. I'll give you a little background real quick before I get into what I brought and who I am. My dad actually came from Panama. He was actually smuggled to America by my great-grandmother. She had paperwork drawn up from him, but they came from Jamaica. And they, all right, you mind get to switch? All right. So, all right. So then they came to America, and my mom is American from here. Her roots are in Augusta, Georgia. So my grandmother being a third grade, having a third grade education, she literally taught her 5 girls she went to etiquette school. Somebody blessed her with an education in New York City before they closed, the Boys and Girls School, to etiquette school. So what I learned in culinary college actually was reinforced at home first. So we were the black people that we were not from the hood, but we were not poor. At least I didn't know I was until, I kept eating grits every day. But the fundamentals of cooking, I learned very young, how to set the table, 16 place setting. Most people have to wait till they get invited, and that's how I grew up. So I didn't have a silver spoon, but we had access to one. Amen? Amen. So anyway, I bought today for you, for your tasting pleasure, is a shooter. I like the shooters because they're sexy. They give you sex appeal. But at the same time, right, if you're full, you can still enjoy dessert without being overfilled, right? So they are a cheesecake parfait shooter, laced with homemade graham cracker crust, homemade whipped cream, and then a berry compote that I put right in the middle. So when you dig your spoon in there and you drag up the spoon, because cooking is thinking, right?
Okay.
You gotta think about the actual dynamics of it all. At least I do. So anyway, when you drag your spoon out, you kind of get a little bit of everything at the same time.
I sure did. It was
And
good.
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Me and my man's back there, we had about like
I need
6.
that. I need that. Because, we can be great at something, but I'm not afraid if you say it's nasty, you don't like it, because that means I got to get better, right? And I get better from feedback. So I thank God for Debo, because he put me on, and I'm here. And is there anything else that I need to say?
Yeah, how we can follow you?
Yes. Follow me on Instagram. It's ITSCHEFROSSANO. It's Chef Rosano. I also have my own YouTube page. I am a local 479 member, so I do feed I do TV and film. So I feed everybody between the dog catcher and the president. I will feed you, because money is green, right? It's all the same color. And you can also find me, I have my own website, my own business. It's A Taste of Case LLC. So it's ATasteofCase, my last name. So A Taste of Case, the motto is, I give you a taste of what I'm about. And we're about food, fashion, and family. So when we come to do a menu, you get a little bit of taste of that. You get a little bit of the Caribbean. You get a little bit of the Southern. You get a little bit of fashion. You get a little bit of family. And then you get that food that'll make you say, ooh-wee.
All right, make some noise for Chef Rosano. All right. This is going to be a 2-minute limit next time, okay? Just 2 minutes. Get it out. Thank you.
And the next chef, I'm very excited to have as part of our network. Loved her food before we recruited her. The flagship show for our network is a one-on-one chef battle called Dragon Fire Kitchen. We stage an all-executive chef battle with the contestants, the host, and the judges were all executive chefs. And Chef Whitney Thomas, within the 45 minutes, broke down a chicken, created a chicken chorizo sausage with a bunch of spices, and won our Dragon Fire Kitchen executive chef battle. She is the executive chef at Serenidad, as part of the Dan Trees Group. Here is Chef Whitney Thomas.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
So my restaurant Serenidad, it is a taste of Latin flavors, very broad because we don't want to be in a box of Mexican or Peruvian. So tonight what I brought for you was a taste of some Latin cuisine. So first we started out with some Venezuelan cheese sticks called tequeños. Those are a little different than the Italian version because they're not battered. They're wrapped in puff pastry, so you get that buttery, flaky crust, and then that queso blanco in the center. And then next I had a little taste of Mexico with some chicken tinga empanadas. So you got a little of the achiote paste, so you got that red with a little bit of heat, not too much heat. And then I finished you off with a Dominican chimney burger. I get my little twist on that burger though, so it's a little influence with the Peruvian flavors in there too, with the little spice on top, with that the cheese, the ají amarillo cheese on top. So you can follow me on Instagram at Chef Whitney Thomas, and you can follow the restaurant at Restaurant Serenidad.
Let's go, Whitney. You are awesome, son. So awesome.
Empanadas, yes.
So now you understand the passion and the pride that I have for the team at Food and Lifestyle TV. One more time, Food and Lifestyle TV chef.
All right, and so at this time we're going to go ahead and we're going to move forward with our Black Media Mixer. And I'll do an introduction of our moderator, the creator of this amazing event, the Black Media Mixer, you know, the Renaissance man, the guy that sings all the time and swoons the ladies. I say it all the time. I'm like, oh my God, I just love this guy too much. Anyway, and just, you know, my mentor, somebody I look up to. And so, you know, he gonna bring all the laughs. So get ready to just listen. He don't play. The panelists, hey, you better keep it cute. Let me tell you, because he gonna come for you. All right, so without further ado, let's give a round of applause for Mr. Daniel Dickey.
Hey. Exactly, y'all really can. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring our panelists up. Devo, if you can go ahead and let's get you information there, King. Okay, Erica, here. Yeah. Deidre. Erica here. Devo here. Deidre here. Solo here. Carl here. People of Earth, welcome to the Black Media Mixer. Put your hands together for yourselves. All right, so we're not gonna do this tonight, okay? I said put your hands together for yourselves. If you ain't cheering for you, what the fuck? All right, so introduction. My name is Mr. Daniel Dickey, and I am one of the most diversely accomplished black men on this earth. I own one of the top branding and strategy consulting agencies in the city. I am a singer-songwriter who's done that at the highest heights and worked with and performed and in front of some of the most extraordinary people. I am an activist, and we created the Black Media Mixer to create a space for our black media to have more unity, to feel supported, to feel seen. And we decided to do this event at the Legacy Center because this building is owned by 15,000 people of color, purchased through the largest crowdfund in African American history. Put your hands together for that. And really quick, when I ask you guys to put your hands together, and I don't see you put your hands together, we're gonna talk about it one-on-one with whoever those people are, okay? Because what we wanna do in this moment is we wanna celebrate black excellence, we wanna celebrate our culture, and we wanna celebrate the people that tell the stories that move our people forward. And if you can't bring energy for that, I would prefer you leave. Okay, so if I say put your hands together, I don't want you to be the person that's moving slow on that, and I don't want you to feel like you're too cool or feel like I'm not gonna call you out. Okay? So put your hands together for our panel. And so we are going to start on the left. Let me see that mic, so take that all the way down, and we're gonna start with you, sir.
I thought that left. 1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2. All right, how's everybody doing today?
Doing well.
All right, well, I started out. My name is Carl Agard. I'm the owner of Boss XL Magazine. Little history on me, I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Hey.
Hold on, we're not the shit from being from New York. All right, 718-347-917, stand up. Crown Heights to be exact. Born and raised, went to Syracuse University, go Orangemen. I started out as a real estate broker. I was the youngest black real estate broker in Brooklyn in the late 90s. I was flipping brownstones when it was $150,000. I had at one point owned about 7 brownstones. Sold them, came here to Atlanta about 2001 to expand my business. I opened an office in Buckhead. I had 2 offices in downtown Brooklyn. I relocated a lot of people from New York and New Jersey to Atlanta. So if you see all these New Yorkers out here, I'm at fault. I'm sorry. Oh goodness, God! Leave it to the let's get through this. Yeah, we're running ads. He's taking responsibility for every New Yorker that moved to Atlanta. Got it. We have leave it to a Brooklynite coming from AirTran every hour and an hour. I started writing books on real estate, financial literacy in 2005. I've written about 5 books. And then how I came out to fast forward to do my own magazine, I used to write for several different magazines, several different blogs, do a lot of podcasts, have my own podcast when they first started out on Blog Talk Radio.
All right.
So I wanted to merge entertainment with financial literacy and also giving flowers, like we're giving flowers to Devo, to a lot of the chefs. He give a lot of flowers to a lot of people in different industries.
Yep.
We want to do it with Boss XL Magazine, and I created a magazine in 2020 to basically merge entertainment with entrepreneurship and financial literacy.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Carl.
Now, right now, keep going.
You know, you're moving next. We're moving along.
Okay, all right. So real quick, I don't know if it's gonna come back to me.
No, we are. You're on a panel. Yeah.
Boss Excel Magazine. Follow me Instagram. Boss Excel the Mag, and I'll talk about it a little later.
You promise?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, got it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Deidre Johnson. I'm a news reporter for CW Atlanta / multimedia journalist. Thank you. I was actually born and raised here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I went to Spelman undergrad, went to Clarendon University in Pennsylvania for my master's. Starting off from Spelman, I was recruited to work for ABC News up in New York to work with Peter Jennings, the late great Peter Jennings. And from there, started off working as an on-air reporter in Dothan, Alabama, morning anchor in Columbus, Georgia, another morning anchor, weekend anchor in Savannah, Georgia, and then 11 Alive, I was a traffic anchor and also worked in a morning show. And now I'm here working for CW Atlanta as a news reporter, multimedia journalist. So for me, I love telling stories. I love telling stories of the people, and I've covered 9/11, I've covered everything from the Iraq War, anthrax scare, and now, unfortunately, the Tyree Nichols story and everything. But as journalists, that's what you do. You tell the stories, so they promote change. Right?
Put your hands together for Deidre.
Jay Devo,
It's you for me.
Jay Devo Harrelson, from New York, Long Island, Virginia Union University, Phi Beta Sigma, Fordham Law, 30 years as a corporate lawyer, finishing as an executive with a team of lawyers reporting to me at Verizon. I wanted to get back to community. I wanted to do something that I thought would be more fun. The TV industry was changing, and our folks didn't have that many ownership positions. And so as we talk, I'm going to focus on the need for black people to own our own platforms and tell stories with our own voices.
Yeah.
Tell them, Devo.
I put my money where my mouth is. We built a kitchen studio here in Atlanta. We have recruited a team of amazing chefs. We create original program. We have a vertically integrated media company, our studio, our production, our distribution network. You can get your membership at foodandlifestyle.com. You can download the app, Apple, Android, Fire Stick, Roku, and watch our folks.
And it's amazing.
Hey, put your hands together for that.
And one of the best decisions I made was to hire one of the best marketing companies in the world to help us with our launch, our successful launch this January with this gentleman.
Keep talking, Devo. Is there anything else that you want to say?
Hey guys, my name is Erica A. Thomas. I run the blog Eating with Erica. I am a full-time content creator and food influencer. My husband and I, we run a content creation agency called Thomas & Co., where we educate influencers on how to make their business profitable and create content for small to medium large businesses. Super excited about being here this evening and having this conversation.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Solo. I'm Streets 945 Program Director, Media Correspondent. Just to be clear, the buck stops at me when it comes to radio.
Okay, if we're being clear.
It stops at me. I'm the one that does the hiring, the one that does the firing, and I'm the ones that get the records played. So that's it. We'll talk about it.
Hey, so put your hands together if this panel seems like they got the sauce. Alrighty, so question number one.
Give me a good one.
Oh, they're all gonna be good, Queen. Yeah, it's me. Yeah, so, alright. She asked for it. Let's go ahead and pull the Band-Aid off here. Alright. After witnessing the death of Tyree Nichols and all the details that have unraveled since, how do you feel and what do you think should happen next, understanding that in this specific situation, outside of all the other ones, it was black men who committed the crime of ending the life of someone in law enforcement?
Well, that got heavy quick.
You said you asked for it, and I gave it to you.
You know what? I think in this situation versus when it's sometimes white people who commit the crime, things were done expeditiously. They were charged, they were fired, you know what I mean? So I think it was more outrage because, like, we're black, like, you know what I mean? Versus when it's white, you know what I mean? So I think that we're gonna see. I think new developments have come out, and I think that she can assist with that. That it wasn't just random; it was more so targeted from what I've seen. And I trust real journalism. I'm not like, a shade room kind of girl. Like, I want to go to the store to get the information. But I feel like you can expand on that since you're covering this.
Well, so would you have, yes, we're gonna move all around, but I'll move the people around, Erica. So?
Same question?
Yes, definitely.
And the last part was it of what you think should happen, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay. First of all, justice for Tyre Nichols. It was a sad, it's all sad because we're dealing with police violence and police brutality on a regular basis, white or black. It definitely was worse to see it from the culture, to see people like us do that to us. But to speak candidly, anytime I've ever came into contact with an officer that has been black, I've normally got mistreated more than the other people. So what I would think is more accountability. I think that they definitely should wipe the immunity so that the officers themselves and the police precinct, everybody that's involved with the whole slew of things they can lose their insurance, they can be sued personally, and it's not the taxpayers that's taking care of the bill. Because if y'all don't know, that structure it's a tax fund that all of us pay. I think they should be held liable when they do incidents like that, me personally.
Chase the money.
So I'm going to tell you that, first off, watching the video, if you haven't seen it, it's hard to watch. But I believe that we all need to watch it. And that's what I said in my story that I did after the first day, after the video was released. You need to watch it because you need to see what is actually happening. It's not enough just to hear that this is a heinous video, that this is a video that no one should ever have to see. I believe that you have to see it. As the mother of 3 boys, I can tell you that it was horrifying for me because the only thing I can picture is my son being Tyre Nichols. Every time I see a video, every time I see a picture of a video, I have a 4, 7, and 11-year-old, and every time I see that, I see their face. That goes to show that there has to be change. Yes, they're going to investigate. Yes, they're going to see exactly what happened. Yes, these were black officers, but at the same time, it's still a heinous crime that we have to look at, and it's still something that we need to make sure that there is change and that there's actual change, not just people talking about it, but like the Georgia NAACP will tell you, we actually want to see action, and I'm tired of seeing it.
And just to expand, because everyone made a lot of good points, I just want to add to say, I just want to see the same energy towards when white officers do it, because this happened lightning fast. But say in other modes, it takes years and years and years and years of investigations. So all I just want to add to that, I just want to see that across the boards, for accountability across the boards for every race, whether it's white on white, black on black, black on white, white on black. Let's have it all across the board so that we'll all feel safe when we're leaving our house.
I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it. Okay, so we're gonna change gears completely, actually. What are you most passionate about these days in your life as a whole, outside of work? And did you hear the emphasis on outside of work? Because if you guys start telling me, well, I'm really passionate about showing houses, Carl, and then I'm gonna be like, you're a realtor, so yeah, so that's gonna be that. So, what are you most passionate about these days in your life outside of work? And are you making time for those things in your life?
I'm ready for that.
You ready?
Yeah. All right. I'm very passionate about sports. I'm a big Yankee fan. Big Syracuse University fan. I went to Syracuse. I'm an Orangeman.
Yep, you said that.
My son, he plays basketball for Johns Creek High School. So my passion is for sports. I like to travel to different events. I will be at the Super Bowl next week.
Be clear, Boss XL.
Yeah. So even though he said don't talk about work, but I like sports. So good thing about having my magazine, I can go to sporting events. But I think just the flexibility and wrap it up of having my own business and stuff like that, I'm able to go to different places and, go to different sporting events. Because once a lifetime experience, and that's what I'm passionate about is sports, because you're not going to see the same thing twice. It's history being made right then and there. So that's why I'm passionate about sports.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Get on in the game. It's like double dutch. You got 2 mics. Jump in. Let's get it.
I'm gonna say right now I just had a baby, so I'm passionate about family. Thank you. I'm really learning balance, especially being a new mom, and I'm typically like in go mode, so it's been really nice to not only take maternity leave, but really just enjoy into like pouring into him. And you know, my daughter, I have a 15-year-old daughter, so it's been fun just making sure that I take family time and make sure it's dedicated and uninterrupted. So that's what I've been focusing on.
Okay.
I had to change my passion. My passion in 2023 is me.
Hey.
And the reason why is just I want to put myself first a lot more in some things and some ideas that I want to do. But traveling, food is very much so. And I hate to be the one up here, and women. So travel, food, and women are definitely my passions. I'm definitely single.
He's single, lady.
I'm definitely single, but that's been a real passion when it comes to me. I just bought a new house, and I've been working on that. I'm waiting to buy my candles from Erica because she does have candles and everything. But me is my passion right now.
Come on, single ladies with the house.
As far as my passion, my passion is my 3 boys. You'll hear me talk about them. They're Miles, Ellington, and Langston. And I will have to say that I actually picked those names. My husband actually, he is in a Latin band and everything. And everybody's like, oh, he picked the names. Like, I picked the names. So we have, of course, Miles Davis, Ellington, of course, like Duke Ellington, and then Langston, like Langston Hughes. And they are just, that's why I'm here. They are everything and the reason why I'm here today.
So I'm going to flip it and give you a cautionary tale. So you said outside of work.
Be clear.
Okay. So my passion now is relationships and the people that I know and love. I've got a lot of people who I've been close to for my whole life, people from my neighborhood, from my college. I did the thing that you're supposed to do. Go to school, go to law school, get a good job, build a life. I decided to start this business a couple of years ago. And as I talked about my business, friends who I've known all my life said, I missed you. 30 years they knew me. 30 years they watched me prosper, and they knew that it wasn't who I really was. So now my passion is building and spending time with the people I care about. So for you younger people here, yes, the job's important. Yes, it's important to do good and get promoted and do all those things, but the people who really matter to you.
Hey, okay, Debo, you better talk with a little OG wisdom in your voice. I love it.
It comes with the gray.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so the next question I have is, what are some reasonable expectations of Black-owned media? And do you think that the audience tends to lay unreasonable expectations on Black media? So.
Yes, we do give some unrealistic expectations, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Anytime you go to anything that's technically Black-owned, there is a bar that's set very, very, very high, especially when it comes from people that look like us. Like, either you're expecting 100% for a very low price, or you're expecting Slack service or any of those things. As Black media company, you have to be responsible for the culture as well as doing it right, because not only are you trying to stay true to the culture, but you're also trying to validate for the bigger scheme of things. So in most media, it'd be like, oh, that's just, you can hear it, oh, that's a Black-owned company. Black, it's never just CNN, it's never just Streets 945. It's like, oh, that's Streets 945, that's just Black station and everything. So you're trying to get that validation out of it. So the goal is to, like what I do, outwork everybody and, you know, show up early, stay late, and make sure you're doing as much as the next person and then some, just to show them that, nah, it ain't just Black, we just got it in us.
I feel that we as readers, we need a whole different accountability. So not even just y'all set the bar high for us, but I think we need to have our media, especially Black-owned media, to diversify. Because the reason why I started Boss XL was I felt it was the same stuff. Celebrity gossip, talking about celebrities and more celebrity stuff. But I knew there's other stories out there, you know what I'm saying? There's business owners that's struggling and surviving and doing good that's not being recognized. And you do have ex-celebs that's, you know, out of the game that's doing different things. That's why.
Hold on, did you say ex-celebs?
Okay, they off the scene. But there's songs that's not in the game no more.
Listen, ex-celebs. So who would you call an ex-celeb? Name one of those. No, we're not an ex-celeb.
All right, case in point. All right.
Oh, your cover story.
There you go.
Got it.
That's it. All right. She had the song with Rakim, so addictive, right? And she lost the deal.
Was that Truth Hurts?
Yeah, Truth Hurts.
Okay.
Right. And but no one knew her story. She basically was raising her kids. She moved to Austria. She's a songwriter. So what people tend to do, and that's why I said we gotta hold media accountable, and also we do have expectations. People would say, oh, this person fell off, that person fell off, because you don't see them anymore. Same thing with athletes. They always say this person fell off, but sometimes they change, they do something different. You know, I know ex-athletes, they're coaching kids. They got a nonprofit, nobody knows. She, for example, she went to Austria, she started raising her kids. She's a songwriter. She's doing phenomenal in Austria, but people said, oh, she fell off. So a part of like why I did it, and Debo said earlier, he wanted to put his money where his mouth is, with promoting restaurants and chefs. I wanted to do the same for different people that I ran across where people wasn't being recognized. So really just put a cap where he was saying with the question is, I just feel that we do have high expectations, but I think we should have different expectations, that we should diversify what we want, what we're reading every day. You know, because everything to me is 80%, 90% negative. But there's a lot of positive stuff out there. Because as you know, when you're on social media, you're reading stuff. By the time you're done, you want to take a shower because it's so negative. But there's a lot of positive stories out there that we need to be learning about.
Got it. And so any ex-celebs that we need to know about, we can read about them in Boss XL. Okay, got it. Okay. Devo? Deidre, are you guys going to touch, both of you guys going to touch this or what?
I definitely want to jump in.
Okay.
First thing is, in today's world, almost everybody in here is a media platform. If you have an IG, if you have a Twitter, you have a platform. So the responsibility isn't just on so-called the audience, but it's on us too. What are you reposting? What are you restoring? The algorithms watch what you pay attention to. What are you focused on? One of the exciting things about having a platform is that you get to contribute to the direction that you want. By having a social platform to showcase different chefs, when talent recruiters were looking through Atlanta chefs, they would find the content we created. And therefore, if one chef had a bunch of retweets and refollows and reposts, they were being recruited by the other networks for appearances on those shows. That's not just one platform, that's us as a collective working together. The other piece is that ownership is very important, and we need to diversify the things, as you were saying, that we share. You saw 4 chefs here. You didn't see any lamb chops. You didn't see any fried chicken. There was no shrimp and grits. You had chefs who understand food, and they can cook and prepare and create way more than the limited perspective they try to give to black chefs. So the more that black media and black voices can give light to the true diversity that we have in our community, the more that we all can share and grow from that experience.
It's the hat parade. You want to give the thinking cap to these folks? Deidre, do you want to answer this question?
Yes, I want to say we definitely need more black-owned media. I would say that we need definitely us in different places. As a journalist, we have to fight for stories. A lot of people don't understand. They think that the stories that we cover are the stories that we absolutely want to cover. That's not true. If you have a white news director or someone that may not be sympathetic to what's going on, for instance, for the Tyree Nichols story, they may say that story is not important. You don't have to cover that story today. It really just depends on who's the person that's saying, hey, making that call. Now, as a news reporter, I can suggest and say, hey, I want to cover this story, but they don't always say you can cover that. If you have someone that's diverse, if you have more black owners in media, they understand why a story is important. I can tell you when I was in Dothan, Alabama, I had to fight to cover the Selma March.
Oh my goodness. In Alabama?
Yes, I was in Alabama. My white news director told me that is not an important story that you need to cover. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is the Selma March. It's the anniversary. Barack Obama's going to be there. Hillary Clinton's going to be there. Everybody's going to be there on top of what it already represents.
That sounds goofy as hell.
That sounds intentional.
And so my news director was like, hey, look, I'm not telling you to go cover it, but if you pay your way, you can cover it. You know what I did? I paid my way, and I got there and I covered the story.
Piggyback off that. I think it's also going to take some patience when you start a black media company. I think, Daniel, I started food 10 years ago, and at the time, no one was interested in food. It was gossip.
Well, no, we've been, you know, food has been something we've been interested in to live for life.
Well, I mean, I'm saying on social media.
Okay, got it.
I'm saying on social media right now, in the last, I'm going to say 24 months, food has had a true pop. Right now, according to the top 3 platforms where people are making the most money. Number 1 is going to be fashion. Number 2, food. And number 3, lifestyle. 5 years ago, that was not the case. So I feel like you have to make sure that you are patient for your following to catch up with your vision.
Okay.
Fashion and lifestyle. So I'm missing one?
You're on point with the hat.
Okay, D, once you said the hat got you in play, because you still out here. All right, perfect. All right, so being black, we typically talk about the challenges that we face, but my personal mantra is something I call the Kim principle. It's my belief through all things, if you are able to keep it moving forward positively and productively no matter what, good things will always be on your path. They'll always be on their way to you because we're always in every moment and every decision that we're making, we're always curating our own karma. Okay, so we do reap what we sow. And so with that being said, in what ways has being black benefited you in your career in media? I like this question. This is a good question, Daniel. Mr. Daniel Dickey, my bad. Well, the mission is to be great, you know, because if better is possible, being good is not enough. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So, I run a hip hop station. Okay. What better than me being 6'3" black kid from the hood? Like tall, dark, and handsome. And single with no kids. Hey. and really outside. Right. And really be outside. Streets. My job, so I started as an intern at Streets 945, and the main reason why I say that me being black, nobody could do that because I was a part of the culture. I grew up in the culture. I knew what it takes to get it out the mud. And a lot of us, and especially a lot of us, do that regularly in whatever field we're in. But with radio and music, we are the culture. You know, we're the biggest consumers, we're the biggest creators. And so nobody could do what I did at that time. And it was very important that I be black. It's very important that I be well versed in the culture to do my job at Streets 945.
I would say from a content creation standpoint, I've worked with lots of brands, Kroger's, Lexus, Woodford Reserve, and I think it's very interesting because they're like, oh, black girls like tuna tartare. Oh, black girls like caviar. Like, yeah, we like just like everybody else.
Black girls eat more food than any human.
Exactly. I'm going to eat like a drug dealer at a restaurant.
No, eat like a black woman. Drug dealers don't eat as much as black women.
But I feel like the perspective was like, oh, you know, the life, I think sometimes they pigeonhole it to white women get to do this and black girls don't do that. It's like, we do that and more, you know what I mean? So I think it was a very good perspective of being able to showcase, we like to go to Kentucky Derby, we like to go to Sobey Food and Wine Fest, we like caviar, not just on special occasions, we like to have, you know, fresh tea when we wake up and journal, like, so it's like I got to showcase that along with the brands that I work with.
Cool. That's dope.
All right.
I would say being black is why I'm here today. Every single opportunity I got was because I'm black. I mean, Spelman College, you know Spelman College.
I mean, them eyes got to be working for you too, though, boo. It's got to be the eyes too.
It could be that.
Yeah. Two.
But as far as my first job in television news, they came to Spelman College to recruit black news reporters or those that would want to work in production and television.
And this was at ABC News, for the record.
And that was for ABC News in New York, not local, but I remember my recruiter, Nisa Walton, came and she said, hey, we're looking for black women like you to come work in television news in New York. She's like, would you be interested? I was like, I've never lived in New York. I've been there maybe once. I'll go. I'm there. And so as soon as I graduated, I had a job at television news and ABC News exactly as soon as I graduated. The next day, I flew up to New York and I started my job.
Let's go!
So without that, also almost every single opportunity I've gotten as far as moving up, morning anchor, weekend anchor, is because a black recruiter, a black news director, someone that knew me in the business from National Association of Black Journalists said, Deidre, we want you. They're the ones that hired me. They're the reason why I'm here today.
Let's go!
And all I can say is, you'll be surprised how many doors are open when you're in black media because it's underrepresented. Next week will be my 5th Super Bowl in a row because and it's a room bigger than this with nothing but maybe 90-95% white media, and I'm there, and it's like they're like, wow, they was just catering to me, especially last year in LA, and then the year in front at Tampa, and then after the George Floyd in 2020, it was a big push of diversity everywhere. So I kind of knew about it. I know how to play against it because I worked in corporate America. So, for example, I just say the NFL, they was really, really going out their way to make sure I was comfortable. Like Tampa went out there to the Super Bowl, they gave me a gift card with $100 on it. Last year in LA, they gave me a private invite to Universal Studios. They shut it down for media. So all I'm just saying is that, no matter what business you're in, don't look at it like, oh, I'm the only one here. Look at it as an opportunity to kick down the doors and make your way. That's what I'm saying.
And Steve, would you like to answer this question, sir?
My take is slightly different. I went to an HBCU.
Hey!
And for those of us who've been to HBCU, one of the things they teach you is, with limited resources, you have to deal with the pressure, you have to deal with the hand given to you, and you have to find a way to be successful.
That's right.
Okay.
Facts.
Fast forward to Times Square, corporate law offices up in the sky, $1 billion deal on the table, and they turn to you to negotiate. The pressure's on. They're in a near panic mode. I'm calm, because I've been through worse. I've been through trickier times. I'm gonna be fine.
I know that's
so I can stay calm. I can use the deep voice, and I can intimidate the lawyers on the other side.
Does it get any deeper than this?
A little bit.
Okay.
Nice and slow when you're talking about Section 4 and Section 5.
Oh, okay, got it.
And that way you can successfully close $500 million deals, not by what you learned in law school, but what being black has taught you how to survive and how to deal in stressful conflict situations.
Hey, let's go, Debo. You better come through with this golden hat. Okay, so next question. How do you feel the support of black media has impacted black restaurants and black chefs?
Oh, that's a good one.
Erica?
I'm thinking.
All right, 7 seconds.
I'll go last on this one.
Okay. How do you feel the support of black media has impacted black restaurants and black chefs and black caterers?
I really feel like it's everything. You want someone who looks like you to endorse the type of food that we like, the type of places we go. That's why I feel like in the last couple of years, it's been so important for us to have so many more people of color as influencers, as chef brought to the forefront, you know what I mean? And I feel like, especially in Atlanta, we have publications like Eater and things like that, and sometimes we don't see as much representation as we should. So it's been imperative for people in the TikTok and Instagram who don't have as large platforms being able to create their virtual own media companies online.
Okay. Solo, I mean, you gotta answer this question. I don't think anyone spends more money in restaurants in Atlanta than Solo, even when he's solo. Solo he have a spread, a tasting spread, and it just be him. Like,
that is true. I like to eat. I think it's very important. And so, like, when I go out, I always try to patronize a black establishment. And I always try to show them love. I know that a lot of people get paid for posting. I don't get paid to post. I make enough money in what I do, but so I don't get paid to post. But I post out of that sincerity that, hey, go check this out. My experience was this, but at least it comes on your feed or so. And I think that's very important. because that little seed might grow somewhere else. Somebody might be. I get a lot of people like, man, dang, I ain't even know that. Where was that at? And everything. And I'm very, if you follow me on social media, I'm very detailed. Like, I'm gonna tell you what I ate, what day I came, all of those things. And it's just a habit. It wasn't necessarily something I was doing just to do. I was just doing it. Like, oh man, I'm here eating, this is what I ate. I think it's very important because a lot of times I've met people or people have DM'd me like, yo, so what day did you go and where's that restaurant at? Did they have a dress code? But at least gets people to start thinking that people like us can go eat real good.
I feel that we always could do more. Like Debo said, that we all are media also. All you guys out here, because you have your phone, you have your Instagram, you have your Facebook. We eat, we go on dates, we cater, we have people coming and do catering, stuff like that. You don't know how appreciative they are when we do those things and say, hey, you know, you take a picture of their food and post it, or you say, hey, I ate here, they're good. Hey, I know this guy, this Jamaican restaurant in Lawrenceville, and they could, you know,
gotta give me gas money for that one.
Catering.
So I'm gonna need gas money for that one.
Oh yeah,
Lawrenceville. Woo,
well, that's how I met you, and leading to that, just by posting Scrum Brunch. That's how we connected. That's why I'm here today, and we were there to support them. And Asia really, really appreciated me posting. I took the whole staff in the back, took pictures of them in the kitchen, and we're doing a write-up on them. Even my magazine now, we always want to write about restaurant people because think about it, they're busy cooking, they're running the business, they got staff, they're trying to get food, you know, there's shortages, everything like that. Just to have someone to say, hey, you know what, I appreciate their food, we need to go support them, it means a lot to them. I've seen restaurant owners almost come to tears by having people really, you know, post and say how much they support their business. So I would just say to everybody, you know, when you got a good place, we take it for granted and say, oh, people know about it. People really don't know. And they don't have the time. They don't even have the time to update their website. Post about them, tag them, take a picture, put on your story, and support their business. They really appreciate it. And also for clothing designers also. We talk about a lot of clothing designers. They really need the help.
Also, a lot of these black-owned restaurants, they don't have publicists working for them like Daniel 24/7 sending out press releases and things like that. So you never know.
Share the bag.
So you never know how a post, I don't know if you guys follow Keith on TikTok, but he literally went to a restaurant. The man said he was behind on rent. He had no idea if he was going to be open the next 2 weeks. He has 5.3 million followers on TikTok. The man has literally had to shut down the restaurant for a day because he said they have been slammed from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. He's had to bring more people in. So literally, he just did it out of the goodness of his heart, and he really changed the direction of this man's entire business.
I would say if you see media, anybody, come up to us and give us your card. Like I was just talking to her, I said, hey, give me your card, because honestly, in journalism, we are always looking for good stories, always. So we're looking for stories about entrepreneurs. We were looking for stories during the pandemic. I know everybody was talking about, oh, so many people, they don't have workers, or so many people are struggling. And we're like, where are these people? We need to tell their stories. So I would definitely tell you, encourage you, come up to somebody in media, come up to one of us and give us your card so we can tell your stories and so we can go out there and actually do a story on you, get the publicists and get people to know who you are.
That's good. That's good.
You have the power to affect trends. You don't just have to follow them. Think through how this plays out and how you can have a part of this. So a lot of heat in social media about restaurants with grass walls and hookah and lamb chops.
I mean, run the play on the lamb chops, though.
But if every influencer and every TikToker posts those pictures and that meal, if everybody's getting hookah, now imagine you've got money to invest in a restaurant. What concept are you going to fund? Are you going to fund a fine dining establishment with high expenses? Or are you going to get you a grass wall and some hookah and pack the house?
And we outside.
And we outside. So there's nothing wrong with being outside and being lit. But if in fact sometimes you'd like to have a nice meal, a quiet meal, a white linen experience, a multi-course experience, then do that and post that and give it positive feedback. so that maybe that becomes a trend. That now maybe on Sunday night, we go someplace nice. And then investors and restaurateurs who are looking for a concept will start to invest in those kind of establishments and can service our community. But here in Atlanta, the center of the culture, we don't have to just follow the trend. We can set the trends here.
I want to tell y'all one thing. It's 400 black restaurants in Atlanta. 400. When I say black owned, that means they're owned by, not the ones that black people go to a lot. But I'm just saying, there are 400 black owned restaurants in Atlanta. If you only go to the basic ones, Papa Do's is not a black owned restaurant. I'm just saying. Juicy Crab. Y'all would be surprised who owns the Juicy Crab. But I'm just letting y'all know, we need to get out and support our own. Stop complaining that we don't have it if y'all not out supporting it.
Okay.
Just real quick shout out. There's an organization called Black Restaurant Week. And they actually do festivals and weeks in a bunch of cities, 14 or 15 different cities, where they focus and showcase black restaurants. So you might want to look them up.
I like that. Okay, so you better let them know it's 400 of them. I like that. And so, all right, so my next question.
He's having fun with this.
Because these questions are going so many different places, so I'm just really trying to decide where I want to go. All right, let's go here. How do you maintain your mental health in a realm full of bleed leads, despair, and the sprinkles of goodness that we see in media?
I don't let the internet tell me how to live my life. I think that I look at the internet as my job. I make sure to be a good digital citizen, and I turn it off and I leave. I don't go on the internet with the heart of comparison. Oh, she has a Burberry, so now I don't know these people's business. I really believe it's make-believe. So I literally, for my mental health, I do what I want to do and live my life authentically by my standards, not by the internet telling me how to live.
Touche. I do agree with that. There's a switch you can swipe off or put the phone down and kind of move out and just make your me time. Like I said before, my me time. And going out to eat is my me time. A lot of times I'm by myself, and that's my decompress moment while I'm eating Wagyu steak or, the gold-plated joint at Steak Mart. Oh yeah, we eat good. But my main thing is just making time for yourself. There's a point where you have to turn it off. Like, you just have to be disciplined enough, and that's a word that we don't use a lot, discipline, to turn it off, because it's very, very important. Me, I sit down, I go sit outside and just breathe. For even if it's just 5 minutes, breathe, and then go on to the next thing. But you have to take those mental breaks, or it's just going to overrun you.
One more thing. When I get on the internet, I ask myself, what's the purpose? So my purpose is to secure brand deals and create content. So that affects who I follow, what type of content I engage in. If you're having stress or anxiety from the internet, ask yourself, what am I doing on this app? And if you're not there on the authentic reason, that's where the stress and the anxiety and the desire to keep up is really going to start to apply that pressure. So ask yourself, what am I doing on this app?
I'm going to, as a journalist, keep it 100. It's impossible to turn it off. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
And so the thing is, I don't want to focus on it. The thing I want to focus on is what you do to maintain your mental health. That has maybe that has nothing to do with the internet at all. What do you do to keep your equilibrium and balance?
Well, I'll give you a story. So, like I said, first job out of school, out of college, was up in New York. So, graduated in May, I was up there. In September 9/11, that happened. That was just a few months later, and I was only 21 years old. And at that time, I was working at the assignment desk overnight. It was a regular morning, and then we started getting calls on the assignment desk. And people were calling and saying that we are in the World Trade Center. The Trade Center is hot, and there's a fire. And I said, well, this was before we even knew what was going on. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. We haven't seen anything about a fire in World Trade Center. We don't know anything about what's going on. And then the next thing I know, the guy said, look, it's too hot. I've got to jump. And he jumped. So when you have images like that in your head, it's very hard to turn it off. And you always think about that. As a journalist, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to tell the stories. We're supposed to be there when something like that happens. But in order to be able to turn it off, honestly, you have to take a step back. In between my different jumps and different, I guess from Atlanta, Savannah, Columbus, I always took maybe even a year off, honestly. That's how long it takes to decompress. And then you realize some stories you just can't report on anymore. Like after I became a mom with 3 boys, no longer can I cover murders. It's just too difficult. I've covered too many murders, too many crimes, too many scenes. I've covered too many incidents of kids that have been molested or have been under criminal instances with their families.
Okay.
So for that, keep it real. You just gotta take time off, and it may take a year for you to really decompress, and that's what's taken from me.
And so I think I want this question, and I want this to be something that people who don't have your job, who don't live your life, things that you do to stay healthy mentally, okay? And so not related to your work, I want human beings to answer this question, okay? I think we're answering this question as media people, and that's not what I want. I want people to know, maybe they're not in media, but what can they take from this conversation about how you maintain your mental health that they can take with them and maybe actually practice and utilize in their lives?
What I do is I do a 2-mile walk.
Okay.
And I just listen to YouTube videos, music videos from the 90s, put you in a good mood.
Okay.
And just have some good thoughts, because once again, if you're on social media, you be negative, you might look at a bunch of memes and waste your time, the dancing memes. So if I do gotta get on, I like to see something nice, some inspirational stories. Like I said, the walk is good, a little light workout. A drive is good too. I don't know if anyone's drivers. I'm a big driver.
Yeah,
I drive from here to New York, 14 hours, but I clear my head, listen to music.
I did a lot of driving during COVID too. I would just get in my car and drive.
Yeah, I drove to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And I think that, and everyone's different, but I think that worked for me. To just take a drive somewhere, even by yourself, just to clear your head. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
A couple of things as far as techniques, a curated playlist and a good walk. Just get the songs that you like, your own music. Doesn't matter what someone else might say about that particular selection or that playlist. That's your playlist. Do that. But the other thing sometimes is to just sit with yourself and understand your thoughts. What's driving the anxiety? What's making it crazy? Usually, once you reduce it, move things out the way, move things around, it turns out you're really only concerned about this 1 or 2 things. And if you can address those 1 or 2 things, you actually can get rid of all the other anxiety that's going on. We tend to be in a cloud, and there's too many things going on, and it's all bothering us, and we never focus, and we don't know where to hit out at. We don't know how to solve it. So sometimes just take some time, admit how you feel. Are you anxious? Are you insecure? Are you unprepared? Do you need to do some more studying? Do you need some time away? Do you need to ask for an extension? Figure out what it is that's the core of driving it, and then address it so you can reduce your overall stress level in general.
I like it. So I'm going to answer this question also. A few things that I do to manage my mental health and my equilibrium. One is I say what I need to say to the person I need to say it to. Okay? I carry very few regrets because I meant what I said and I said what I meant right to that person in that moment. I don't carry around I don't harbor any feelings of anything, ill will, any of those things, because if you got me fucked up, we talked about it. Right. Okay? And so that's one. Number 2 is I smoke marijuana. Okay? So, yes, so there's that. I also do yoga and I meditate and I believe in going out in nature and allowing my lungs to open up and have a full capacity with themselves. Another thing that I do is I intentionally be present in the moments that I am in my life. Like right now, it is 9:04 on January the 31st, and that's the only place that I am right now. I'm not thinking about tomorrow, I'm not thinking about my meetings, I'm not thinking about anything that's happening other than the Black Media Mixer right now with you guys. And a lot of times we're always thinking about our problems, and I always tell people, I'm like, you can pick those back up later. Okay, if there are problems, there'll still be problems when you leave whatever it was that you're doing. And maybe you just being present in that moment may open up an opportunity for that problem to be solved, because at the end of the day, ultimately, we all exist to be the answers to each other's prayers. Yes. Like that's why we were put on this earth. And so anytime you're in a space that you aren't connected to people and you aren't reaching out to people and you aren't maintaining a relationship with people, that will be another reason that will be something that could compromise your mental health. So make sure that you're the person that's doing 51% in all the relationships in your life, and you'll have more relationships in your life, and you'll have more people that can't wait to help you do all the things that you need to do on this earth. So those are some of the things that I do to maintain my mental health. All right, and so let's see here. I'm gonna ask one more question and we're gonna go into the audience. All right, what can we as Black media and publicity people do to bring about more unity in our industry and in our community as a whole? I'm gonna repeat that because I want you guys to answer this question, okay? So, what can we as Black media and publicity people do to bring about more unity in this industry and in our community as a whole?
Communicate better. We have a problem with the communication and partnerships. I see a lot of Black media from all genres. We're quick to do favors for other media outlets, but when it's us, it's always a problem. It's always an issue. It's always a block or an obstacle. I don't have time. But then you'll turn around and I'll see them do it for somebody else, and they'll be like, bruh. So, and I take that to heart. Main reason why, because we are the only independent Black-owned radio station in the city, and I have to fight for Black people to do stuff for the radio station, or I have to jump through hurdles or hoops for things to be done, or I have to sell my firstborn, for something to be done when I see other people.
You ain't got no kids though, bro.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
Hey, when she did it, she didn't have one either until it happened. So, but it's really hard, and I think that the synergy that Black people, like, we only come together when it's negative. You feel what I'm saying? Like, all of us, the George Floyd or Tyree, we all together now. Hey man, we gotta get out here and think. But when it comes to the positive stuff, hey, yo, let's put this deal together. You do this, we do this. It always, what's in it for me? Like, bruh, like the bigger picture. We all go in here as a conglomerate. Like he said, when he goes to the NFL, it's a small group. But it's a lot of us that's all media outlets, but we're never working together unless it's a negative thing. Unless it's, okay, Daniel always does a Hosea Feed the Hungry, and Daniel always is in things and he always reaches out. But a lot of media folks don't do that. It's automatically, what's in it for me? But then if another person calls, it's immediately, okay, boss, what you need?
When you said another person, I feel like you're skirting around some words. Do you want to say white? Do you want
white media outlets?
Okay, got it.
Outside, okay, non-people of color outlets.
I don't do no skating. Okay, let's get right to it.
So when somebody comes in, and when I say non-people of color, if it's not Black owned, then that's what I'm talking about. Because there's Black media that's owned by other people.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about Black owned media that is not doing the dance, not just there for the check. It's like, if we supposed to build each other up, let's build each other up. That's the goal.
I would say when you're looking for media, marketing, publicists, pay their people their rate. Like, literally, they do good work. They're gonna, they know the outlets that you need. Pay these people their money, because it's so insulting that you're qualified for the job. You know that it's a great concept. You know you're gonna knock the ball out the park, and then you don't get paid. You don't get paid on time, or because the results aren't coming within 2 weeks, you're frustrated. It takes time. PR for any marketing campaign, Black, white, yellow, Asian, it's gonna take 90 days to see any type of results. But sometimes it's like, I paid you, now, I may have not been in my budget, but I'm gonna pay the proof point, or I should have said what my budget was, and maybe we could even worked with you. You know what I mean? This is essential season, so I'm not gonna, if my rate is $2,000 and you say I can only pay $1,550, I'm gonna work with you because I believe, but pay these people their money, that's all.
All right.
On time.
And so now I want you to move past the industry and to talk about what we can do to have more unity among us as a people in general.
I would say giving each other grace. and not having preconceived notions. Sometimes, as Black people, there's a right type of Black and a wrong type of Black, just from own individual perception. And I say just giving each other more grace and having more transparent conversations like this.
Okay.
I would say community. I would say work together and pull each other up. That's the biggest thing. It's, like Sol was saying, communication. So if you know somebody that needs help, if you have an idea or something like that, help them out. I think in our industry, we all need to work together so we can all help each other. We're all, you don't have to all be competitive against each other. There are plenty of other people that are doing what you're doing, but they always say if you all work together, what they say, that all lifts up to all votes. I know y'all have heard that statement before, but we all work together. That way everybody's unified. I mean, if one person is struggling, help the person out. If you know somebody that's coming behind you, teach them, help them. Yeah, they didn't, like for instance, where we all started from, where you are, you didn't get where you are without somebody helping you. If you see somebody needs help, help them. Don't be like, oh, well, if I help them, then they can beat me or they can have my job or they can make more money than me. It's not about that. It's about helping each other.
And just to expand what she said, we got to collaborate together. We got to work together, like for real, because we losing in this race. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about across the board, finance, media, whatever. Everyone looks at each other as competition, and we shouldn't be like that.
Facts.
Everyone got different talents to bring to the table. And when you bring it to the table, follow up. And we got to hold each other accountable. Like, I can't do Boss They Sell magazine myself. It's a lot of work. So when someone say, hey, I want to write, go ahead, write. I'm going to be on you. I'm going to post it. And you're going to share it. I'm going to hold you accountable. You're a photographer? I'm going to put you in. I don't see you as a competition. We need to collaborate. So that's why I said we need to do it together. Because even in finance, I was selling houses in Brooklyn when it was cheap. Everybody was competing with each other. And you know what? The other communities came in, bought the houses, flipped it, made millions of dollars. Then you know what happened 20 years later? Everyone said, oh, well, we would have, could have, should have done. And we got legacies to build. We got kids, grandkids, everything like that. So we just got to work together, collaborate, and build a legacy.
Individual positivity. I learned this from one of the chefs on our team, Chef Robert Butts. He's not here. He's the executive chef at Twisted Soul. What I take it from him is encourage your friends. We scroll all day long. We have people that we see that they do good things. Maybe we stop and double tap and leave a heart. You know what? Take it a step further. Someone's posting something that was important to them that they worked hard for. Send a DM. Put a comment. Save the post so the algorithm gives them a little bit of light. In other words, do a little bit more. Be intentionally purposeful. Rob is great because he'll have a bunch of chef friends and they'll call him before an event. I got this big job. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, what I'm going to make. Talks through menus. Why don't you try this? Okay, that's great. What are you going to add to it to make it special? And as soon as you post pictures from that event, he's the first person going to call you and say, I saw that post. Man, that was amazing. And sometimes, as strong as we think we are, as powerful as we think we are when we look in the mirror, we need that little bit of, I saw you.
Oh, no, we need a lot of
it. And so, be the person that gives that. Maybe it's just 1 or 2 or 3 a day. But you'd be surprised think about how good it feels to you when you get one of those. Be a giver.
I love it. So, any questions from the audience? And the format I want this to flow in, I want you to stand up, tell me who you are, and then ask your question. All right?
It's not for me. Step it high. It's Randy again. But this
Are these for Upscale?
Yes, this is from Upscale.
Let's do the audience first.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Phil Jackson. I own She Works Photography. My question is actually for the full panel, and it has to do with, I'm a native of Atlanta. I lived up north for 20 years, but when I moved back here, I see quite a few people doing what I call the image of being. They put the image that I'm this thing without the work. And in our effort to support, we say, hey, you're doing your thing, they get the likes or whatever. However, because the foundation isn't there to do the quality suffers, you get the whole black business thing because they don't know what to do because they skip steps. So how do you guys, I guess, recommend, or how can we work to support, but still tell them you need to do the work and that you're not ready yet to say you're the boss and that you're killing it and that you're this person that you're trying to look the part, fake it until you make it, and instead work on your craft. You're not ready, I'm gonna support you, but I love you, you're not ready yet, so we can't put you up here yet. So how do you guys recommend that we can still deliver this message to us so that our quality is better overall?
I'm gonna say be intentional, and I'm gonna do something Daniel does, because I do it as well. Tell the fucking truth. Like, tell them, you missed this step. You're not ready yet. And then show them the way. Like, don't just criticize somebody if they're not, and then don't show them. Like, you can show them, but then teach them. And make sure they learn it. It might be somebody you have to take under your wing. You know, I've been through 587 interns since I've been at this radio station.
Ooh, baby, get them out of here, cuz.
Okay? Now, I've had to deal with so many different people that didn't know, or different things. I've hired some, I've let go a lot. And the conversation is, you have to teach them that you still have to have the skill set. You still got to show up and prove yourself. That post, that like, that social media, that's all great. That's a business card. But you have to be able to do the job. If you're not going to be able to do the job, it's going to be short-lived. And you have to be intentional when you tell them that, and you have to be honest when you tell them as well.
They teach you techniques for this in corporate. And you want to balance positive, acknowledge what they do well, acknowledge the intention to be better when you deliver, you know, the criticisms, and then teach. Sometimes the issue that we have in our culture is that, you know, we from the dozens, and my way of telling you that it's not working is by going off on you, and we laughing. But if someone goes off on you and they're laughing, when you walk away, you don't feel nurtured, you don't feel growth, you just feel pain. So if you are the deliverer and the teacher, then keep that in mind. And to a point that you made, that you tell people what you need to tell them and you need to tell them, if someone's struggling, you might need to have a sit down. It might be a quiet sit down, it might be away from other people, it may be a lunch. Have the conversation, give them encouragement, but then give them the knowledge they need to know.
Anyone else want to answer that question? Last one.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, coming from someone that had 3 real estate offices, and I'm a retired real estate broker, but I coach real estate agents now. And I'm gonna use that as an example. A lot of people get in, they see stuff, they think it's so easy. Like, oh, I'll get my license, I'll sell these $1 million houses, make all this money. And it's like, yo, it don't work like that. I told them it took me 3 years before I made my first money in real estate. Then when I became a broker, they put me through a ring up in New York. I was the youngest black real estate broker up there. They was not giving it to me easy. Then when I got to media, same thing. I had my own column in Upscale. They didn't just give it to me. I had to write hit deadlines. That's back in the days when you had to write 5-page articles with research. So I just would tell people, listen, it's no shortcut whether you want or not. Some people still want to take the shortcut. But you know what? They'll be back. They'll be back a year later, 10 years later, 15 years later. And you know what they always say? Oh, I should have listened. Because a hard head is going to cost a light pocket. So all I'm just saying is sometimes you got to be hard with people. Like, it's no shortcut. You got to put the work in for you to get out of it. But once you put the work in, be diligent and consistent, it pays off.
Okay, next question. Let's start with the lovely lady, of course. You.
Pearls.
Yes. Pearls for the girls.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
So my name is Naya Rogers. A little bit background about me. I am I'm team layoff right now, for big tech. Team layoff for media as well, last like 30 days. I'm ex-rolling out, for those that don't know, I was the director of brand strategy for 30 days. So my question is, when you are trying to figure out what's next, everybody's an entrepreneur, you make content, which I think is amazing because I'm also like a content curator, but I don't know how to take my new page, my small following, and my big following on TikTok and make money from it. So that's pretty much like where I'm at now. Is there any type of feedback in which you can give or any type of pointers?
So I feel like you have to work backwards. So what is your end goal? So when you figure out your end goal, then you can work and take opportunities. I've been doing this for 10 years. So I knew at the end of the day, I wanted to do it full time. When I decided I wanted to do full time, I would only take non-paid or experiential. I feel like non-paid is such a dirty word right now, but that's how I had to get my foot in the game.
Yeah, that's how everyone who actually is in the game did that.
I mean, I know.
These new niggas kill me.
But you know, but it gave me practice, and that was where it's okay to mess up because you didn't pay me.
Oh, somebody else is dying.
But that's where it got lots of practice. Also, networking with people in your industry, making sure that your image is great, but your reputation is even better. I like to under promise and over deliver. When you talk to people, and just whenever I start something new, this is what I do. I go to my email, reply all to everybody in my entire email list and say, hey friends, this is what I'm launching, this is what I'm doing, and this is how you can support me. Lots of times when you're starting something new, you're embarrassed, you're shy, I don't want to look stupid, this idea is dumb, I don't want to do it. And really, I mean, it's true though. I mean, and when you really put yourself out there and you connect with your entire network, you will be so blown away on how many people are like, oh my God.
Can't wait to support you.
They're so excited to support you. Oh, I can't support you, but I have a friend. I'll keep you in mind. And then 3 months later, you get, oh, are you free for coffee to have a conversation about this? I hope I answered the question.
Does anyone else want to answer the question?
So not only am I a journalist, I'm also a blogger. So I have a blog called Mom's Blog Too. And so I teach moms how to monetize so that they don't have to work a 9 to 5 or so they can stay home with their kids if that's what they want to do. I would tell you, go straight to the brands and tell them what you want to do. Tell them exactly what you do. Tell them, say, hey, I love working with travel. I travel different places and everything. Go directly to the brands, tell them what you do. Tell them what you can offer. You can also go ahead and start selling digital products online. I don't know if that's something you looked into, but if you're doing stuff on TikTok.
Like affiliate marketing.
Yeah, you can do affiliate marketing. Do your own digital products. Also, host a live webinar. Then you can sell your webinars online, and people will pay for your live webinars. So I would say digital products are the way, because that way you don't have to worry about inventory or anything like that. People, you get them on your email list, and they'll buy the digital products directly from you.
Nice.
All right, next question.
Good evening, Dr. Danaka Woodrick.
Okay, be clear.
Hey, Doc. Hey.
DOC.
All right, panelist alumni, myself.
Okay, be clear.
A lot of times, we sit up there and we give a lot of jewels, but Daniel said something that actually sticks out. It's mainly about the support. So this is more so not a question, but more so a compound statement, if you may.
Okay.
I own a PR firm, but I also own Little 5 Points local newspaper. It's for Little 5 Points in the Beltline. It goes into like 30,000 homes every month. And I also own a pretty popular cannabis magazine.
Called Hip Hop.
Called Hip Hop, yes.
Yeah,
it's #1 in the South. And a dispensary as well.
Okay. And he's one of my favorite flower, providers. Yeah. Yeah, we outside. We're really outside.
Okay, but I would like to know, how can I help pour into you? One, the Food Network.
Holler at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yep, there it is.
Send stuff for us to print. We'd like to let the public know that the app is now available.
Yep.
Right? So free of charge on me.
Yeah, we got you.
Appreciate you, brother. Boss XL. I represent the 43rd Black-owned mortgage bank in the United States. It's owned and founded by Miss Watson, solely owned by a phenomenal black woman that's also a veteran. You spoke a lot about real estate. I don't know how far you've gotten with it, but this woman is worth like $1.8 billion, and I would love to connect you with her before I leave here tonight.
Definitely. All right. So it sounds like where you're taking this is like in the recap, though, Dr. Woodrick. Yeah. This is after we get the music and stuff on. I want to deal with questions right now. Feel free to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, everyone. You get a car. You get to do that when we're done. Okay. So any other questions? Actual questions.
Don't be shy. Okay. Greetings, everybody. My name is Empress. I'm very, very passionate about the youth, so I'd like to know, in your opinion, How do we get the youth more involved in their own voice as opposed to the narrative that social media is providing?
I think that starts with the parents. If I'm being honest, I think that with self-esteem, self starts with how you feel about yourself, and that starts with your parents. I always love this interview with Lil Wayne where he does, and the woman asks him, so how do you feel as you're contributing as a role model to these kids? And he said, I didn't sign up to be a role model, I'm a rapper. The role model is up to the parents. And I feel like that starts at home. That's my opinion. It starts at home with the parents. So if we can get the parents more involved and really go back to creating a village, then I feel like that will trickle down to the children.
As a parent, I totally agree. It's up to us. I mean, for my kids, I keep them busy, I keep them involved. I tell them, this way you don't have time to be out in the streets. You're doing baseball, you're doing basketball, if you're doing anything on the internet, it's something productive. You're learning how to be an entrepreneur. Oh, you love YouTube? Why don't you learn how to put yourself on YouTube so you can make your own money? I believe you have to give them like a task, give them something to do so they're productive, so they're not just wasting their time on social media. They're doing something where, hey, I can be an entrepreneur. They're learning that I don't have to work for somebody. One day I'm gonna work for myself and I'm gonna have other people work for me. So I try to put them where they're doing productive things themselves. They see me up on television like, oh, Mom, you're doing TV, but they also see me shooting, writing, editing. I say, see, you gotta be able to learn how to do everything, every single craft, so then that way you'll know what to do when it's your time and you can actually own a news station. You don't have to work for a station, I want you to own it. So I believe as a parent, you gotta teach them that from the beginning.
I just say, like, we gotta let the young people know they got a voice too, and they got a platform that it's okay for them to write also. I give young adults the platform to write also about their stuff, because stuff that we do is affecting them. Amen. And we're leaving this earth for them. So what we're doing today is affecting them. So I want them to know, hey, this is how we're feeling. This is what we're going through. We have a voice also. And I have a nonprofit for financial literacy. And I talk to young adults about finances, careers in real estate, how to start a business, stuff like that. And, we do let them know that, you have a voice to go out there and learn things and let people know how you feel and what you want to do with your future.
I love it. And so I'm going to answer this one too, because this is a really important one, because I'm 44 years old at this point, but I've been helping young people go through that boys to men process and from girl to woman since I was probably about 17 or 18 years old. Taking kids to camps all across the world and all of those different things. And so I'm in a place, in a space now with young people where I've remixed the Whitney Houston's Greatest Love of All, because I do believe that children are the future. I do believe that we should teach them well, but for right now, I'll lead the way. You guys sit down and relax and watch for a little while. And so some things that I think that are gonna be really important for everyone, not even just young people, is people of color especially. Something that we have to really spend a lot of time with is emotional intelligence, okay? Because our anger and our ability to process it effectively or ineffectively could be the reason why a kid is in jail and being tried as an adult when he's 15 and all of those different kinds of things. So I think emotional intelligence is something that's really important to teach to young people, how to resolve conflicts, how to communicate and articulate your feelings, male or female. I think that's going to be really important. And it's a varying opinion that I have nowadays. I'm not as big of a fan of teaching entrepreneurship to kids.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that we're creating failures before they should even be thinking about failing. You know what I mean? Outside of their grades. So I think that kids should definitely go and volunteer. I think that's more important than starting a business. I think volunteering is more important, doing community service and figuring out how to serve others. Like that should be something that every parent should be teaching their kids at young ages. Because if you teach them how to be servants, they'll grow up to be the best leaders.
Yeah, sure do.
All right. With that, I think that, Randy, what you got?
All right, so this last question is from Lauren Clark of Skull Magazine, and it's for you, Ms. Thomas. She said, what is the power of food, our cultural culinary her story, and its ability to bring healing to Black American people during this time? I'll say it again. What is the power of food, our culture, culinary, and its ability to bring healing to Black American people during this time?
I mean, if you go back to food and comfort, think about Sunday dinner. Like it's so healing, you know what I mean? Going to wherever you want to go, and just like the excitement. I'm gonna starve myself all day because I can't wait to have that amazing food. I feel like there's so much healing in the power of community, and then community with food.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
What's your name?
Yeah, this is
What was her name?
actually okay. So get
Yeah,
deeper
what was her
now.
name?
Yeah, she's gonna do that.
This is for Lauren Clark with Upscale Magazine, and she had the same question for you. Would you like for me to repeat it?
Nope.
Go ahead.
Ms. Laura Clark, I think one of the amazing things about food, particularly in our community, is that it's an excuse, a reason for us to get together. So I've got something I want to say to my brother. I'm trying to make amends to somebody, to a girl I used to talk to. So how do we do that? How do you go about that? You say, well, you know, I found this new spot. You like tacos, it's a new taco spot. I want to take you out to dinner. So the food becomes the pretext for real conversation and real company. And we all know some of the best times we've ever had is with 3 or 4 of our friends, too many drinks, too many calories, after hours, the staff is trying to leave, they're looking at you funny, but you're having a good ass time. And so the power of food is the shared sense of community that's part of our culture for thousands of years.
Thank you.
All right, so guys, put your hands together for this dope ass panel. Louder than that! Let's go! Let's give it to them. Oh my God! Yes, there you go, there you go. And even back around to spinning the block on mental health. Finding reasons to celebrate and being around people worth celebrating.
Yeah, that's dope.
Okay, that's a key ingredient. All right, and so I want you to put your hands together for Carl at Boss Excel Magazine. Louder! Put your hands together for Deidre Johnson. Put your hands together for Jay Devo, Food and Lifestyle TV. Put your hands together for the lovely Miss Erica, Eating with Erica. And put your hands together for Solo. Put your hands together for Mickey Riley and Women on Wines. Put your hands together for all the chefs that bought that eatery. Put your hands together for the real Randy O. You can clap. And maybe you can clap for me if you want. So guys, we want to thank you for coming out to the Black Media Mixer. We are here the last Tuesday in every month with this same vibe with some dope-ass black journalists. So we'll see you next month. Feel free to go get any food or any drinks that's left over there. Drink it all, eat it all. We don't want to leave here with a single thing. And we're going to take a group picture, and then you guys can feel free to devour the panelists.